Round one of the Western Conference playoffs. This is the first game of the Western Conference, but it's the second game of the 2021 NBA playoffs. This game is between the fifth seeded on the Western Conference, the fifth seeded Dallas Mavericks versus the fourth seeded Los Angeles Clippers. This game comes on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're in the States on ESPN. Just a shout out to this game. This is a bubble playoff rematch. So this is one of the teams that, or not teams, sorry, one of the matches from the bubble that was really kind of out there as far as like, okay, you were expecting one thing in my opinion because Luca just being there without basically Porzingis being healthy versus the Clippers, who were a team that was perceived to join the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, potentially go to the finals, potentially win it all, to be honest. And obviously that did not happen in the end. But even through this playoff series or the 2020 playoff series between these two teams, I think. Sorry, I should have looked this up, but I think the Mavericks pushed them to 6 games. I think Luka got 2 off. He at least got 1, but just doing that alone, that showed the greatness of Luka because of being such a young talented player in the league. Obviously, he's been a professional basketball player for years, but an NBA player not that many years, and that was his first playoff experience. And wow, did he perform! So I'm looking forward to that again. And I have here in the notes: did the Clippers look too far into the playoff run? And that's regards to what people are saying as far as did the Clippers avoid playing the Lakers by choosing to sit out players the last 2 games of the NBA regular season, which basically put them in position to maintain the fourth seed and not trying to climb to the third seed, where they could have potentially played the Lakers if the Lakers, the Lakers did win their game. If Portland had lost to the Denver Nuggets, then the Lakers would have been the sixth seed. And then if the Clippers would have been the third seed, then that would have been the first round matchup that we're talking about. But all in all, yeah, this is 5 versus 4, and Dallas. Dallas is not going to be a joke because of Luka Doncic alone. Like I said, if he can get a game or two off last year without assistance, then this year, oh my, because he's just an even better player. So, Clippers, you got to get your mind right. You know, you're thinking strategic when I think they're thinking strategy down the road, down the stretch, and not right now. Like, yeah, you could argue that them avoiding the Lakers was a strategy for right now, but if your hit is against the Lakers instead of being against the opponent that you're going to play no matter what, because you're just in position to win the game because that's what you're about, is just winning, then that tells me that when you come in this series, you might not be looking at the Mavericks as a serious threat. You might be like, well, we avoided one with avoiding the Lakers, so let's take care of business, go to the second round. But if you're not focused here, then the Dallas Mavericks or Luka could take advantage for sure and work that sweet spot for them. But like I have in the notes, Dallas is going to be hungry. They're definitely going to be a hungry team here, and I'm hoping that the Clippers have that same hunger. But I think it's going to be a little bit different for them. Obviously, they're going to have to play with the chip on their shoulder just from the embarrassment of exiting the playoffs earlier than what most people expected, or if not everybody. So, uh, like I said, they have to have a certain mindset. They need to have whatever mindset the Dallas Mavericks are going to have coming into this game. Let me just say that. Um, and just another side note, this is going to be probably the most interesting first round series of the Western Conference playoffs that I'm thinking of at the moment between all the matchups. So this is definitely a series I want to keep track of, and definitely, like I said, the performance of Luka Doncic, but also the performances of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Seeing how consistent they can be early on, but it's the pressure that gets to them, in my opinion, because you need somebody there who's going to pretty much be accountable. And that's what I have as an X factor. That's the X factor for the Clippers. They need the vocal leadership and they need accountability. So they need somebody who's out there when times are rough. Not when times are good, because offensively they can do great things, but it's when the game is tight. And this is a different situation than a regular season game, because this is a best of 7 where each team should be watching each other and studying the team that is before them. So that way they could take advantage of weaknesses and exploit those weaknesses. But Vocal leadership was a problem last year, and accountability was a problem last year, even post playoff exit when they blamed the coach and Doc Rivers. They got Ty Lue now, so let's see how Ty Lue can round these guys up. I know I'm just speaking on the first round, but like I said, this is similar to the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks. This is basically a matchup that could easily have been the second round. So we're going to have great expectations for this series here, and just to throw in the X factor for Dallas, they need another consistent 18 to 20 point player that could score for the series. And I'm not saying that they won't get a player that can do that, and then another player that can do that. I want to see somebody who's consistent throughout the playoffs outside of Luka Doncic, that's contributing basically every night. If this goes to 6 game series, at least 5 of those games in that series, they need to do that. So with that being said, I'm thinking game one's definitely going to set the tone for this series. So, you could kind of say that for every matchup, but I think this is extra special for this series because if the Dallas Mavericks are able to take advantage of the first game, then they're going to be on a roll. And it's going to be hard for the Clippers to overcome that. Now, if the Clippers come in aggressive and in the right mindset, like we're here to take care of business, we'll worry about the second round when we get there. We're going to finish all as fast as we can. Then I think that's going to set the tone as well, because then it's going to be hard to come back from for the Dallas Mavericks. But just overall, we'll see. My prediction right now is Dallas in 7 or Clippers in 6. So I know that's not very definitive, but that's what I'm rolling with. So you can leave in the comments or IG us or hit us up on Twitter with your comments on who you think is going to win. But yeah, so like I said, not too definitive there, but Clippers in 6 or Dallas in 7.